It is week 8 of the high school football season. So glad to have you on board here for the high school huddle here at Stacy's Place. We are presented by F&M Bank. Alongside my partners Phil Nichols, Casey Porter, I'm Chris Evans. We get you set for week 8. We'll look back at some of the games in week number 7, as it was an interesting week for sure for a lot of teams across the state of Oklahoma. And guys, want to get your opening thoughts here about Stacy's Place, 111 West Harrison here in beautiful downtown Guthrie. Take care of us each and every week.
Sirloin for me, and then obviously the onion rings like I do every week, and they are absolutely fabulous. I've had just about everything on the menu, and I have yet to find anything that is not just first class. A tremendous place right here in downtown Guthrie.
Well, everything here is always good, guys. Great food, great service. Obviously a great atmosphere in a beautiful building downtown Guthrie. So, like these guys said, if you want a steak or a bowl of soup, it's all homemade. It all tastes great and fresh.
Or all you can eat gum, right?
All you can eat gum. All you can eat Tootsie Rolls. All you can eat pot. No,
this place was a happening place over the weekend with homecoming festivities.
Were you dragging a touch Monday, partner?
It was. I was glad to see Sunday come and the rest a little bit there, but it was always good with the Blue Jay victory. But we'll talk about Blue Jay football a little bit later on in the show. But first off, let's dive into Class 2A football here. And when you talk Class 2A football, you've got to bring up the Chisholm Longhorns, coming off a 13-1 campaign a year ago, and so far so good news for them. 7-0, 3-0 in district play. They're getting ready for a big matchup. It's one of the big ones in the state of Oklahoma against the Perry Maroons, the surging Perry Maroons.
It is the high school huddle game of the week.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to bring in the head football coach of those Longhorns. It is Coach Joey Reinert. And Coach, we appreciate you joining us here for the first time on the high school huddle.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
Well, first and foremost, I'm assuming that you did not cancel your 7-on-7 drills this week, Coach. Perry likes to throw the ball a lot, so you're going to have to be ready for that, aren't you?
Yeah, we might emphasize that a little bit more this week with Perry. Going into last week, he averaged something like over 40 passes a game, so we definitely put an emphasis on 7-on-7.
Yeah. Well, Coach, before we get into much of the Perry game, last year 13-1, I would certainly think that's probably the best year at Chisholm High School. Lost to the eventual state champion Adair. As you look back on that season, what were some of the things you take from a year ago that might help you this year?
Well, just the experience of being in those battles that we had through the playoffs, the circumstances we had to get through the Ice Bowl over Thanksgiving weekend, and the way our kids learned how to fight and scrap for those things, and realizing how much it means to our community now is the biggest thing. It's really blown up around here the last few years, and it's become a monster, and it's awesome.
13 wins in 2015, 9 victories in 2014, 9 victories in 2013. Coach, you were out looking, you were maybe sneaking up on some teams in the years past. Now there's a big circle when Chisholm comes to town or someone comes to Chisholm. How is that different for this year's ball club?
Yeah, that's something we had to adjust to a little bit, especially this year. After that 13-1 season last year, and we've taken some pretty good shots for some people, and especially early in the game, our kids have finally, throughout the course of these 7 games this year so far, they've realized what it takes to come out early. We've had a bad habit early in the year of kind of slow playing some things and waiting to see what's going to happen. And over the course of the last couple, we really came out pretty solid and executed really well. I'm pretty pleased with it.
Speaking with Chisholm Longhorn head coach Joey Reinhardt here on the high school huddle presented by F&M Bank. And before we talk about some of your players, Coach, your defense, I looked at last year's numbers and they were just mind-boggling. How many teams you kept to 1 score or less this year? Only 55 points allowed all season long so far, and including 5 teams held to just 1 score or less. Talk about your defense.
Well, it's based around just containing the big plays, not letting big things hit you. Where teams can start to snowball some stuff and really score quickly. Our guys have really bought into learning the system. They just play their responsibilities, and then on top of that, we've got a lot of guys that can run pretty fast, and they're not 100-meter champions or anything, but they do get there pretty quickly. We have several guys that run 4.6, 4.7, and it's all the way across our defense, so that helps out a bunch.
One thing about the Enid area where Chisholm's at, Coach, is, I grew up in Stillwater, and one thing I always thought about that area of kids, extremely, extremely tough kids. That area of Oklahoma just produces that type of kid, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. They, mentally tough, physically tough. They come from a good background with their parents, and they know what it takes to work hard to make themselves the best they can be. So, they fully believe in it now.
And it's an area of Oklahoma, it's not unbelievably remote, but it is out there a ways. And I say that because it's an area of Oklahoma that really loves its sports. It really follows its sports. So it's really fun to get to coach and have a community behind you like that, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. And ours is a little bit interesting as well because we don't have a true town. The town of Carrier is out to the northwest, and then there's a small municipality of North Enid that they consolidated back in the 70s. So we don't have a true town that supports us, and it's pretty neat. You get the northern part of Enid, you get some rural areas up north of the school and up towards Carrier, and it's a good mix, and definitely has brought our football community together, and they're extremely supportive.
There's a lot of small towns around there, and I've always been curious. Is there is there big rivalries between a bunch of the schools out there?
Well, you get down to the 8-man ranks, and there are some of those. But for us, it's traditionally been Fairview and Alva, and as of late, for the last 3 or 4 years, has been Hennessy.
Hennessy obviously has had a really, really good run. Angel McCauley, I believe, was a Division I recruit a couple of years ago. And they've kind of gone back and forth between A and 2A, talking about the Hennessy Eagles. And, again, another good team this year. And talking with the Chisholm head coach, Joey Reinhardt. And, Coach, this is a, type of the season to where you talked about defense, or we've talked about your defense, how good it's been. As you come down the stretch, as the weather's changed, it's the team usually that can stop the run and the team that can run the ball themselves that wins games late in the season, right?
No doubt. And that was real apparent for us last year when we ran into Bayan up here. We had about 2 inches of ice on our field, and they wanted to come over and continue to play it. So they didn't have a short week next week, they thought. And, we were able to run the football on them, and that really pays off. The weather gets so crazy, the wind, can affect a passing team, in so many ways. And being able to hang your hat on somebody running the football, and then, being able to stop those big plays and stop the run, set yourself up to definitely advance every week.
With as much success as you've had both last year, obviously this year as well, do your kids feel more of a pressure to perform each week knowing that they have a lot to hold up to, or is it just fun knowing that they're good?
Man, they don't even acknowledge any pressure there. Last week I just happened to be talking to a kid, and we were sitting there thinking, we've won 16 regular season games in a row. And the kid they had no idea. They don't think about things like that. They're just, they're just ready for the next one and ready to get that next W.
Speaking with Chisholm head coach Joey Reinhardt here on the High School Huddle, presented by F&M Bank, a team that no matter what poll you look at, top 3 ranking, of course. Adair up there as well with the Chisholm Longhorns, who saw it last year. Chisholm more than likely on their way to winning 2A1. I'll say it for you, Coach. But big wins already over Hennessy and Alva, teams that were thought to fight for that district title there. But again, Perry this week, though, the Perry Maroons is kind of like the team on the rise in the 2A ranks against a team that has been there, done that. So when you travel to Perry, I would certainly think you're going to have a hostile environment.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's the first chance for them to secure a district championship since, I believe, in 2000, 2002, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, they're pretty fired up over there. Chris Cole's done a great job kind of building that enthusiasm around that program. And that's definitely been in our heads all week. Talk to our kids about going in and play somewhere that's going to be pretty tough on Thursday.
Chisholm district wins over Hennessy, Alva, and Newkirk. Perry this week, and then they'll finish up with Pawhuska and Tonkawa to finish out the regular season. Coach, you got a great 1-2 punch offensively. You got a great 3-way player as well. Talk about those 2 men as well as some other players on your ball club.
Well, our seniors are our best players. They've bought into the program of our philosophy of building athletes all the way through, and Connor Pasby nearly had 1,000 yards last year, or over 1,000 yards with the playoff rushing, and Mason McKee, explosive guy. does things really well. Can catch the ball, does some great stuff with our RPOs on the edges, and then is fast enough to stretch the field too. Brock Elmore, he's kind of in the same mold as Mason. Catches a lot of quick screens, runs a lot of our jet plays. Tough kid. Then we got Colton Wickard on the outside, who's 6'3", 180 pounds, can run fairly decent for his size. That's become a pretty big weapon for us. Those guys have been our, basically our production. And then you add in the quarterback, who's getting better every game. The kid's got a great amount of potential. He's got a great amount of talent, and so he's starting to figure out the game and just taking what teams are giving him. When he's on, we're really, really good.
Coach, and I know it takes a lot of people to get something like this done. Royden Tilley, your superintendent, was a wonderful baseball coach for many, many years in the state of Oklahoma. Very sports savvy, obviously. I know there's a lot of people in Chisholm that love their sports. I know I went to college with a kid that played at Chisholm, and his dad actually worked at the Ford dealership there, and then last name was Lloyd Marshall. And so I know the Chisholm community fairly well, and I know there's a lot of people that have helped you along the way. Talk about all the people, your assistant coach. I saw you have a couple of assistant graduates and some really good assistants. I know you have a good superintendent that's very sports oriented. Talk about all the people that have helped you.
Oh man, that's a long story. When I came here, culture was quite a bit different. It was a basketball school, so to speak. Football wasn't a real popular deal. We had 20 kids out. We knew it was going to be a struggle, but we kind of just defended myself, kind of felt it out a little bit. And without the support of the superintendent and a school board member that, in particular, that was a real big backer of trying to get things turned around, we would never be able to be where we're at today. They let my vision kind of transpire. They didn't put a whole lot of pressure on it. And to have that kind of experience from a superintendent who's been a head baseball coach at a 6A program, and his knowledge of how to handle kids and how to handle situations, and not only that, thinking about both sides of issues, and always being that guy that brought up the other side of things just to make you think about it, really helped me grow as a coach in that regard. And then just administration. Mrs. Morley was our principal for a while. She was great. And then now Shane Dent, who's a big-time athletic guy as well. Having so many guys like that, and then the assistants that I have, Coach Coleman, who was out with Honda for 32 years and has won 17 state track titles and multiple cross-country titles. Having that guy on staff is huge. And Coach Savage, who's been around Coach Coleman, winning championships at Watonga, got experience down at Lindsay. And then, having some young guys come in like Kyle Yett with his experience at the college level, started for 4 years at Northwestern, had some arena time after that, and then, he does an amazing job with our quarterbacks. And, we do have a couple graduate assistants. It really helps having those guys there when we got, 62 players out, and being able to group things up so the kids can get instruction every day. It really builds your true program and solidifies everything. So, sometimes the head coach gets credit for too much, and I feel like that's the case here because, the support that, the superintendent and all the coaches and the backing from the parents, that's really what's gotten this thing done.
You mentioned those 62 players, and that was one of the biggest things about Chisholm this year was the depth that you had.
Man.
And,
must have a good Little League program, right? Goodness.
Coach, we'll leave you here. One last question here. I know you're worried about Perry this week and the rest of your schedule, but how do you see 2A playing out so far? It's there's obviously you got to play 15 games where other classes had to play 14 with the number of teams in Class 2A. But how do you see Class 2A breaking down so far through Week 7 of the season?
Well, I think the usual suspects are there. Davis, Diane's really, really good. I know they had a bunch off of that team we played last year in the quarterfinal coming back. And then Adair, and they've got Bradbury, and he's healthy. It's tough to stop those guys because that kid's really, really good. So you got those guys that are there in the mix, and Victory Christian coming down from 3A who's really, really good. And, hopefully we can take care of business and execute things throughout the first couple weeks of the playoffs and give ourselves a chance to be in the mix with those usual suspects.
It is the last regular season game or on the road for Chisholm. Then they got back-to-back games at home to finish out the regular season and get set for the playoffs. Coach Reinhardt, best of luck this week in Perry. Best of luck come playoff time, and we hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Coach Joey Reinhardt of the Chisholm Longhorns on the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank. Yeah, one of the biggest things about the thing that I read 62 players, and they got the great athletes, but then they're also starting to build up some depth as well. So.
Yeah, and if he's still listening, I want to apologize for cutting him off there early. I couldn't hear him. I thought he was done talking, and I did not mean to cut him off on that first question.
Well, I sent him a text, said you're just traditionally kind of rude, so not think anything of it. Don't take it personally.
I wasn't intentionally trying to step on him and cut him off there. I thought he was done talking, couldn't hear him. So, anyways, we'll continue on with our talk about Chisholm.
Yeah, and it's an interesting matchup because you got the Chisholm. It's very similar to Guthrie Junction. You got these teams that have done really well, and now you got teams that are on the rise, like Perry. Perry has one loss, and they're trying to crack the top 10 of Class 2A. They can't get there, but if they were to pull off the big one in Perry, Oklahoma, I guarantee they'll be in the top 10.
Does it kind of remind you of what Crescent was trying to do, trying to beat Caston a couple weeks ago? It's a hard hurdle to get over for everybody in the program, isn't it?
Well, I tell you, but I can't think of anyone that's, and I hate this for those kids over Crescent, that's been even a greater struggle than most.
Oh, yeah.
It's really been tough. But, and this Perry team, Coach talked about it, they like to spin the ball, man. They can flat spin it. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this game's what's combined points, 100 points?
Yeah.
110?
The thing that I heard in that interview, and we've done a lot of interviews and we've listened to a lot of coaches talk, you hear a quiet confidence, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
There's no bravado. There's no...
Very matter of fact.
You can tell Coach Reinhardt understands that their actions speak for his words. He doesn't have to go and brag on his team and talk about how good they are.
Right.
Very humble, very quiet confidence, if that makes any sense. He just knows that they're good. He knows why they're good, and he doesn't have to tell people that.
No.
People can see it for themselves.
Come watch, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good thing, too, by the way.
Oh, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Chisholm at the Perry. That is our High School Huddle game of the week.
Does it seem odd to anybody, though, that a team called the Longhorns is baby blue?
Red, white, and baby blue.
That's never struck with me quite. I don't know why.
Red, white, and
baby blue.
We got to be careful. Okay, what's baby blue?
I don't know.
Western
just
Heights.
Longhorn. You think?
So like what the Blue Jays had back in the 80s.
Yeah, just
70s.
just Longhorn. the big.
And
then baby blue.
Baby blue should be like the.
I love baby blue. Don't get me wrong.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
George Strait.
Like the old Cardinals uniforms.
There you go.
I love those.
There you go. Chris made the George Strait reference. You know what that song's? Who that song's to, Chris?
His wife?
I don't know.
His daughter who passed.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, there was in the bigger schools last week, Norman North does defeat Tulsa Union 30-27, and so that the West Side School still has some. They have some hope. There's a chance. There's a chance.
So you're saying we got a chance?
What that does is it pretty much guarantees that Norman North is not going to have to beat both Jinx and Union in the playoffs to win the state title, correct?
Yeah. I haven't looked at the bracket that
was
far yet.
That was a 3-point game, wasn't it? Did you tell me it was a 3-point game?
Yeah, it literally ended the last play of the game.
Wow. That'd have been a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Oh, no, are you headed there?
Speaking of the last play of the game.
What?
How bad? How bad does that sting in Muskogee?
Man.
What happened in Muskogee? I didn't know something. What happened, Chris?
You beat number one 2 weeks in a row, and then you play.
So if
wait, Chris, bring me up to speed.
So
what
if Muskogee and Deer Creek played, who are you rooting for?
Well, Muskogee.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? The Ruffers all the way. I'll get up my green.
You really don't know?
No, I know.
Okay,
I'm giving Chris a hard time.
Yeah, Muskogee wins 2 weeks in a row over number 1 ball clubs, Bixby and Booker T. Washington, and then hosts Sand Springs, who, by the way, was in the state championship a year ago.
Good football team, sure.
And they're a ranked ball club.
And just now kind of hitting their stride.
Yeah, Muskogee up 14-0, and then Sand Springs throws a 43-yard touchdown just before half, 14-6. Fast forward, Sand Springs scores a touchdown with about 9, maybe 6 seconds left in the ball game, down 1, and they go for the win in 2. And I'm sure many
play
people
completely screws up.
Completely screws. The ball's batted at the line of scrimmage, falls back in the hands of the quarterback, who runs with it, laterals it back, and then the running back, I believe it was, scores from about 15 yards out and wins it.
He got propelled like 8 yards. It was like,
and the thing about it was, after the first forward pass, you cannot throw another forward pass.
Right.
So that whole play had to be backward laterals or run. You can't throw it again. So that's what made it so interesting, was once you saw it batted, you go, okay, well, they can't throw it again because they've already thrown it forward once, So how in the world are they going to be able to run this thing all the way in? And I'll be darned.
It's a crazy way to lose the ball game.
Of course, being an OSU fan, nothing surprises me. So.
Oh, boy.
Stillwater in the win column, 28-21. They take down the Yellow Jackets. So,
like we said, the games you expect them to lose, they win. The game you expect them to win, they lose. Can't figure that team out.
And wasn't there just one game in 5A, or was there no games in 5A this last week?
It was us, and who else?
No, there wasn't. That was kind of a bad week, although it does step up this week.
Yeah, it gets a little better.
Ardmore and
Mac?
Not Ardmore and Del City.
Oh.
Ardmore, Del City this week.
I got Del City in that game, I think.
We'll see how that one comes up, but those are some of the highlights, I think, of last week's ball game. What was our game of the week last? Oh, the Morrison.
Yeah.
Morrison and Pawnee. A 12-2 ball game.
Yeah.
Morrison goes on the road to Pawnee and gets the victory. So Corey Bells and the Wildcats now improved to 6-1 on the season. And they, on Friday night, will host Newkirk. And so a lot of games, of course, will begin tomorrow on Thursday due to fall break for most of the schools. So there's games on Thursday and Friday, but majority are on Thursday.
Love my boy Corey Bales. 12-2, as much as I would have loved to have seen the Pawnee Morrison game, I would have needed a pillow to watch that game. That would have put me to sleep.
We thought about...
I bet if Corey was on the line, he said he would probably agree with me. Watching 12-2 football.
Come along and hit me in the head, please.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to find my Cushing Tigers. I think they had a close one, or they got a good one coming up this week. I cannot remember on the Cushing Tigers.
Does Stillwater have any chance at all of making the playoffs? Are they still?
Well, I got it right here. I'm looking at their stats right here. Okay, in that 6A2 district, 6A2-1, Lawton is 3-1, PC West 3-1, Midwest City 3-1, Enid 2-2. Deer Creek 2-2, Choctaw 1-3, Stillwater 1-3, Putnam City 1-3.
Answer your question, no.
Well, no, the 4 teams 2-2, and that's Enid
and Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, and they beat both of them.
Deer Creek beat Stillwater.
No, Deer Creek beat Stillwater.
Okay, Deer Creek
for the
beat
first
Stillwater.
win of the year.
Well, but if that 3-way ties, then you go to points.
But they got to win out, right?
Stillwater hosting it this week at Putnam City. That's a victory. And then they host Midwest City.
Well, if they win those two, then they're probably in, right?
Yeah, because, well, they're going to have to hope for a 3-way tie with Enid and Deer Creek and to win the points. They would have to win all. I mean, it's going to be a 3-way tie for one spot if Stillwater's going to make it in.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I guess they could win out.
Stillwater's got to win out and
get a little help.
Get a little help from Enid.
1, 3, 4. How many district games?
Let's talk about what's real important here. Who's Deer Creek got left? Can they make the playoffs?
Deer Creek's 2-2.
So there's 3 more games. So Stillwater could go 4-3.
Okay. Who's Deer Creek got left?
And if Enid and Deer Creek only win 1 more game apiece and Stillwater wins out, Stillwater's in.
Deer Creek's got PC West,
which they could lose that easily.
They will. Yeah. They can. I mean,
yes.
I
mean, I would favor PC West in that.
Me too.
Choctaw beat Midwest City, and then they lose to Stillwater. So who knows? I think that'll be a toss-up.
And then finish the season at Lawton.
And I think they'll lose that game.
I think they lose all 3 of those.
Yeah. So there you go. So now you're looking at Enid. And did Stillwater defeated Enid, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So now all you need is a head-to-head tie.
Wow.
Stillwater Enid are this week.
Oh, I thought they
Okay,
already
yes.
played.
Okay.
No. Oh, no, it was Enid and Deer Creek's already played.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's what I was thinking about. Right.
So this week's game is huge.
Yeah, very big.
Stillwater and Enid, because that's two of the 3 teams vying for that 4th spot.
Wow.
So if you beat Enid this week, now that moves Stillwater to 2-3 and Enid to 2-3. If Deer Creek loses this week, now they're all 2-3.
See, I'm the one who gets all excited about the district standings and a bracket type deal. You guys are breaking it down. Not bad.
So what Stillwater wants, obviously, is to defeat Enid, Deer Creek to lose to PC West. Is that who they play? Mm-hmm. Which I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think Stillwater's going to beat Enid, although Enid has been playing better lately. So I think at the end of this week, you're going to have a 3-way tie for that 4th spot.
Yeah, the final 3 weeks of the season should be interesting. Okay, so you're doing a poll for 6A Division 2.
Yeah.
Who do you got? 1, 2, 3. Muskogee 1.
Yes.
And then Booker T or Bixby however
and the reason why I say that is, that when you play Bixby, Booker T, and then that 3rd game in a row, I mean, it reminds me of when OSU played Iowa State after they played Baylor in Texas and gotten so hyped for those 2 games. That 3rd game is just such a trap because it's so hard to get energized for. So, yes, Sand Springs is very good. I think Sand Springs caught Muskogee at a great time to play them, and so I'm not going to penalize Muskogee an incredible amount for that loss. And the matter of fact, Sand Springs is really good.
Well, bottom line though, this is why I hate polls.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
They mean nothing for football.
Because one of the guys has Bixby ahead of Muskogee. Muskogee just beat Bixby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're just so damn stupid.
I totally
polls.
agree. Chris will tell you I hate polls, and I always have. And if you have to go with the poll, I've always said go with the media poll and throw out the coaches poll. Because if you look at a media's poll, like if you look at Jacob Hunroo and the way he picks games, and then you look at the way a coach picks games, Jacob will not only be closer in picking games better, he'll have the scores close. I mean, because he follows more. If you're a coach, you follow your team.
Right.
You see a little bit of, but you're seeing
others, and
you're seeing matchup. But whereas a media guy gets to see a full scope of every team, more so. So I don't like polls either. I think the only ones that even have somewhat of legitimacy are the media polls. But you know as well as I've told you this a bunch of times, Chris, if you're going to choose it that way and not play it on the field, I think you need to come up with some computerized formula that takes all human element out of it.
BCS?
Yep, and then just throw out, let the formula throw out who the best team is.
Well, Muskogee, with that loss to Sand Spring, has an open week, so a lot of time to think about that one.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure after that 3-game gauntlet, comes out a really good time for them.
No doubt about that. Time for us to hit our first timeout here on the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank. We'll take a timeout on the other side of this break. We'll look at some games this week. Again, most of them are tomorrow on Thursday night, and then a little sprinkle of games on Friday night. Timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank.
I could not hear. I thought I couldn't hear him well enough.
I turned him.
Something had him because the second he started talking, you're going, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
Because I knew it was in 7, so I turned everybody up.
Man, I want to just lay down and go to bed. I hit a freaking wall, man. I need something to get me going. Can I get a teaspoon of sugar over here, please?
I'm going to text him and apologize.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, but still, I need to for professional courtesy.
Where it's comfortable to buy a car.
I don't know why I can't hear the commercials. Is 10?
You paid 20% more than you should.
A2. Yeah, is 10? Yeah, 10's muted.
153. Visit us online at advanceautogroup.com, where it's comfortable.
Up TBJ.
When it comes to Guthrie Blue Jay athletics, Hayes Funeral Home is a
is that us last night?
All the way to the championship game. Along with many years of experience in funeral service, the Hayes family brings compassion and professional service during difficult times. Owners Chuck and Lynette Hayes take pride in providing families and their loved ones quality care. Chuck and Lynette have not only supported families in the Guthrie area for countless years, but have supported Guthrie student athletes succeeding on the playing field and in the classroom. Hayes Funeral Home is located on the corner of Huddle and West. Simply give them a call at 405-282-3100.
He said, no problem at all. Thank you, guys. Great show.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678. Don't have time to call? Send us a text at 405-973-8645 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHS Huddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
Hello, I'm Phil Nichols, Casey Porter. I'm Chris Evans. Welcome back to the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank here on a Wednesday night, coming to you from Stacy's Place here in beautiful downtown Guthrie, 111 West Harrison to be exact, about a half block from Gelsma Stadium. And we invite all of our friends from Stillwater, Enid, Chisholm, Oklahoma City, Edmond, all the great places surrounding here in Guthrie. A great place for dinner, great place for lunch, open every day of the week except for Sundays. And as good as the homemade dinners are here, the desserts are fantastic.
Yes, they are. Phil, what are you suggesting dessert-wise for me tonight?
You've never had the chocolate pie here.
No? Is it good?
Well,
that's a dumb question.
I mean, say, is the Pope Catholic? I mean, yes. It's
the bar
good.
Starts at unbelievable. Yeah. So anything. What I'm saying is,
do you like
it
chocolate?
Above that? Yeah.
Do you like chocolate a lot?
Yeah.
Dude, the chocolate pie is delicious.
Do I look like I like chocolate?
Yeah, that's a good point, little buddy. But chocolate pie. But I also, there's if they got the wedding cake up there, you need to try the wedding cake.
Wedding
too.
Cake.
It's amazing.
Is it?
I mean, next break I'll go do a little reconnaissance.
Okay.
It's not really called the wedding cake, but that's what we call it. Well, I think we need to rename that.
I can't concentrate when I'm up there, so it's hard for me to make a decision. So I need you to make one for me.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard.
It is fall break, so a lot of games being played on Thursday night this week, tomorrow night, including the Blue Jays traveling to Piedmont. That's an important game for 5A District 2. But let's look at some of the games across the state of Oklahoma. And the Minko, are they the Bulldogs?
Yeah, yes, they are.
They're 6-1. They're coming off a 47-0 setback to Chisholm. Chisholm got them last week, but they are 3-0 in district. So out of district ball game with Chisholm. But they're number 3 in Class A, taking on number 6 Class A team in Wayne. Yeah. Bulldogs are they both Bulldogs?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know about Wayne, to be honest with you.
Well, I know off I-35 you turn.
Yeah, Wayne and Payne. Yes.
You turn left to Wayne and right to Payne. I've actually covered a basketball game in Wayne, Oklahoma, back in my newspaper days.
Back in the day,
were they playing Prue?
Oh boy.
It was a Wayne tournament, so I'm not sure.
Back to the Prue thing.
I know the Crescent Tigers were playing. You're not supposed to cheer. But I would, if it was Prue, I would be cheering for the Rockets. But it is Minko at Wayne in a Class A battle there. Class 6A ball game. Union Redskins go down to Phil's Norman North Timberwolves.
That's right. Home of the Bulldogs. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Bulldogs. Okay.
Home of the Stoops boys.
Norman North. That's right. But we're talking about Tulsa Union here as they take on Southmore. So the West trying to go back to back.
Good too.
They are. A lot of teams thought. A lot of people thought Norman North, Southmore.
Southmore is getting.
Southmore wins that. When would be the last time Union lost back to back?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Southmore's getting Union in a bad spot.
Yeah,
Union's not going to be be very happy.
A little angry?
Yeah, I think so.
Phil, if I were to guess, I would guess it'd be week 1, week 2, or week 2, week 3 before the Jinx game, and maybe they played someone from Arkansas after Jinx.
6A1 football?
Right. Yeah, we're done. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's 6A1 football?
Who's that?
Are we talking 6A1 football?
I'm not.
What are we going to talk, NFL football next? I mean, what's going on here?
We're going to break down the NFC East here now.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, how about some Western Oklahoma football here?
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Baby.
All right. How about the Red Tornadoes, number 6 Clinton at Weatherford?
Clinton was a team that struggled mightily earlier here in this season, kind of turning around now. Weatherford's been one of those enigma type teams who have played a really good schedule, and they've had some good moments, and they've had some not quite so good moments, but very athletic. I've seen them on video, and they look the part. I can guarantee you that.
It is one of the biggest rivals in the state when you talk Clinton and Weatherford. They call it the Custer County Conflict.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
CCC, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How do you know this?
I think it might have been a baseball. I can't remember.
I mean, seriously, though.
I just remember CCC.
Yeah, Clinton has some of the coolest facilities on. You drive by their old baseball field on their way to their new one, and you're like, well, heck, anybody would love to have that place to play high. And you're like, no, that's not their. No, you got to keep going, and then you go to their new one. There's unbelievable facility.
Wow.
And obviously
the Blue Jays traveled there.
Yeah, no doubt this summer, and then the awesome the Red Tornado Bowl or whatever they call it. Yeah,
right off the highway.
Yeah, man,
you see it.
Man, you talk about some cool stuff, and then them and Weatherford getting together, and then I always kind of thought of Weatherford being the kind of the cool ranchers, and then Clinton being the not quite so cool farmers, if you will.
Oh boy!
So kind of
he just drew an agricultural war out of there.
Kind of that mix right there that goes that
cattle ranchers
makes for a really good rivalry.
Sheep ranchers, one of those days.
It is FFA week here in Guthrie at the Big Pork Chop Dinner on Friday night. So that game, besides a big rival, that's a big game because that could determine who is at home for a playoff game. The high school Huddles game of the week, we talked about earlier, Chisholm at Perry. That's and Perry did jump into one of the top 10 polls, just at number 10.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, 2A is pretty,
I understand, but goodness. I mean, just look at the way that they're winning games. It's very impressive.
Yeah, they took advantage of a little bit of a schedule, I think, but still, they took care of what they were supposed to do. I agree.
And
I'm just playing the other side. That's
one of those deals where, as a pollster, to me, you put Perry up there at 4 or 5 just to generate excitement from a new program. Just that generates a buzz. People talk about it. Perry. They're not, that kind of deal.
Good way to get emails and feedback.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, are we taking predictions of that game yet?
Not yet. We'll do that last
Coach Reinhardt is officially off of the phone now. He's no longer hooked up.
He was hooked up.
No. I'm just saying we can give a clear and free conscienced opinion on who we think is going to win.
I already had my mind set up. I had it set up last week.
Does George Strait have anything to do with it?
Oh boy. Here we go.
Not going to say, huh?
I'll wait.
That would be too much. Huh?
I will wait. I don't want to give it too far away. At Class B matchup, Depew at Davenport.
Does Kelly Beebe have any ties to anybody you're going to pick for this week in that game?
That's a big factor.
That's a big factor.
All right, and Kelly Beebe's mindset toward football will play another factor in my score as well. I mentioned Depew at Davenport. Davenport number 1 Class B football. Edmond Santa Fe is at Westmore. Moving on quickly. Here we go. 5A football. We got one game of note, a big ball game, an important ball game, especially if you're a Guthrie fan. Yeah, Casey.
No, it's us.
Oh, Guthrie Piedmont?
Yes.
Well, how about Ardmore at Del City before we get to Guthrie Piedmont?
Yeah, that's a good game. Del City's going to win that game, though.
I wouldn't. It depends on if the quarterback's healthy.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Del City's looking for a break. This is their 4th game against a top 5 team in 5A.
Yeah. That's part of that's the
5-1. Yeah. Absolutely. So 2A Walters taking on 2A Lindsay. That is a
anybody know Lindsay's mascot?
Panthers, leopards. Leopards,
there
yes.
you go, the Lindsay Leopards.
It took me a second. Made me nervous for a second. Hollis is at Cordell and Laverne at Shattuck. And again, most of those are on Thursday night. So a couple big matchups in Class B football. Of course, Guthrie at Piedmont. We'll have that broadcast here tomorrow night, beginning at 6:30 to our pregame show at 7 o'clock. It's a big game. Piedmont has not been in, and we got a lot of listeners in Piedmont right now. Piedmont has not been in the playoffs since 2011 when they went 6-5. This is their 3rd year in Class 5A football. This is the year they have circled to get into the playoffs. And even if they lose tomorrow, I think they're in. But this win against Guthrie tomorrow would all but put them into the playoffs.
It would be a jump start. I mean, it would be like putting it'd be like putting the charge into their program, and obviously obviously Guthrie, we talked about with Coach Reiner a minute ago, having the success he's had at Chisholm, how they take everybody's best shot. And I can attest to that just even from the junior high level. When people see Guthrie on the other sideline, they give it everything they can to win, because it's a target. It's almost like it makes your year if you're able to defeat. It's like we were at Ponca City that night, and that little kid goes, "Did we just beat Guthrie?"
Yeah.
It was like Santa Claus had come.
Well, we were waiting around, of course, to get a final ruling. People, funneling in, a lot of people going home, and I can't tell you how many Ponca City Wildcat fans walked by me talking to someone on their cell phone, going, "We beat Guthrie. We beat Guthrie."
But
it was a big
what
deal.
It means
it was
people.
a big deal. So
I hate to bring. I didn't mean to bring.
Well, it is what it is. But and the reality is they've never defeated Guthrie.
Yeah.
Piedmont has not beat Guthrie.
But that's how important it is to people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Guthrie 6-0 all time against Piedmont, and Piedmont, give them credit right now. They've taken care of business. They did have their back-to-back losses in the non-district. They've won 4 in a row. They're 5-2. But we'll find out about the Wildcats.
Oh, yeah.
Guthrie, Carl Albert, McGinnis to finish the regular season.
Wonder where George Mivas is at these days.
George Mivas. What was that, about 2003?
That's when he went all Rocky Balboa.
Sure did.
He started punching Guthrie kids in the head when they still had a helmet on.
The Myers kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he picked the one guy that liked to fight the most, Logan County.
And was punching him in the head.
Really smart.
When he had a helmet on.
How about this, guys?
Chris said he's going all Rocky Balboa.
No, George Foreman.
No, he's going all George Foreman on.
Oh, you said that?
That's what he said.
Yeah. He's going George Foreman on him.
George Foreman.
You seen him running the helmet?
And this is on the redheaded Myers kid?
Yes.
He'd fight a buzzsaw.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we were laughing at Mivas the whole time he was doing it.
I'll try to break down 5A football here real quick.
He wasn't going to win the fight.
No.
Wallet Mac, Ardmore, Altus, Del City, McGinnis, Guthrie, Carl Albert, throw in Piedmont as well.
Man.
Those are 8, 9, 10 good teams.
Oh, boy.
It'll be fun.
East Side, McAllister, Noble.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Big 12, to where you don't necessarily have just an unbelievably, completely dominant team at the top. Maybe you could say McGinnis or Lawton Mac might be, but what you have are a lot of very competitive teams in the middle. Mm-hmm. Kind of lumped together.
Kind of like the SEC when you have some matchups.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Well, I think Mac, where we sit right now, Mac has to be the classified.
I don't know, man. McGinnis is pretty good.
Yeah.
McGinnis is pretty good.
Yeah.
They're both good. Can we?
Man, when you can dominate Carl Albert like that, that turns my head. Yeah. Those athletes that Carl Albert had. And like I said, I told you. Anyway, we don't want to go there, but very impressive.
Yeah, good win. Yeah, very good win.
And the good thing, the good thing about it is it doesn't have to be determined by poll. If they both make it to the state championship, hopefully they don't, because
that means we're not there. Yeah, right.
But then you'd get to see it on the field.
Absolutely.
Lawton MacArthur, the only undefeated team in Class 5A football as it stands right now. Undefeated teams in Class 4A, Heritage Hall, who's going to win the district, and so it comes down to Clinton Weatherford for that. That's why the Clinton Weatherford game is so important, because that's the number 2 in hosting a playoff there.
Yeah,
so Clinton
it
Weatherford
costs $40,000 a year to go to Heritage.
I had it
pretty cheap.
No, I had it.
It's more expensive than a college.
If you go there 4 years to Heritage Hall, it's going to cost you $75,000.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Heritage Hall undefeated. The Tuttle Tigers are also undefeated, as well as Wagner. They continue to get things rolling there. And Hilldale, the 4 teams that are undefeated in Class 4A football.
Is there an O in Wagner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wagner.
Yeah.
When I say Wagner.
What's their mascot?
Wagner.
What's Wagner?
I don't know, but they just had a cornerback that just graduated from OSU last year.
He was pretty good, Peterson.
Peterson.
What's I want to go back to this Wagner.
I'm thinking Bulldogs.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what came to my mind.
Okay.
KCL.
They've been really, really good. He wasn't the only Division I player on that streak of teams they had.
Legit.
Kingfisher Yellow Jackets, they're starting to warm up as we hit the final 3 weeks of the season. They defeated Chandler 41-7, and now the Kingfisher Jackets have have won 5 ball games in a row.
Anybody surprised there?
They had the week off, but they had the week off as they get ready to host, or they travel to Centennial for their last regular season game on the road.
Wagoner Bulldogs.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Wow. So the Jackets under Coach Jeff Myers continues the good things over there. They're on top of the district right now, 3-0. Perkins right behind him, though. 3-1 record, 5-3 overall. PTD have won their last 2 ball games. They traveled to Blackwell and put 73 points on the board. They went at 73-49.
How about Walters? What's Walters' mascot?
The Kennies.
Damn it. Go ahead. Trying to get him. I just can't.
Well, the way to get Porter's, you guaranteed to get Porter. You ready?
Oh, okay.
It's not even fair.
Here we go.
Oklahoma Bible.
Oh. Yeah, they're the Obas.
I don't know either.
They're the Obas.
The Oklahoma Bible is?
OBA. I would guess.
OBA. I don't know.
I would guess the Crusade. My only guess would be the Crusaders.
Well, if you ask me what the mascot of every private school is, I'm going to say Crusaders or Saints.
There you go. I was about to say OCS.
Both safe bets. Both safe bets.
And I'm not going to root for them. How's that sound? Am I on my own there?
Hey, by the way,
Jesus. I mean, what's going on?
I'll break down some volleyball here real quick for you.
Yes, I am on my own.
There were 8 teams in the state tournament in volleyball. 6 of the 8 were private schools.
I'm glad they can dominate something.
That stinks. So anyways, let's
Perkins in a 2A tie right now with Mount St. Mary's in the district there in 3A District 1.
I'll say it, hatred for that scenario comes from going to the big house as a kid, watching Class A and Class B basketball, and watching a town have a team that they actually can win a state title for the first time in 100 years. Their only team that will ever be able to win a state title. Then they get beat by a team full of alphabets that have been recruited all over the place. And that one community that had the one chance to win a state title gets beat by a bunch of alphabet guys that are paying $75,000 a year to go to college. It's just absolutely.
Chris, have you noticed the tuition goes up every time Casey tells the story?
It's going to continue to go up too. But it just is not. It is not in any way, shape, or form.
So what's
a
the
fair
answer?
playing
What's
field.
the answer?
You put all of the private schools up with the 6A1 schools.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, they can increase their enrollment, and then that becomes your 6A1 32-team district.
I love that.
And really,
that sounds very fair.
The biggest
I've said that for quite a while.
The biggest advantage is in the spring sports, obviously, like the
biggest
tennis
advantage are in the smaller schools.
Correct.
Like a 5 and 6A school has enough numbers to be able to compete with McGinnis.
Right.
But if you put a McGinnis type deal down in Class A,
Lincoln Christian,
they have no chance. A place like Glencoe forever can't beat a place like that. So why have
the Saints, OCS Saints, not won more state titles?
Well, do you not remember when they had the
Griffins
and
football?
They were pretty good. They never won it, but
right. I know they won 2 or 3 basketball titles, but I'm saying in football they've never won it.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know anything about
how many private schools have won state titles?
Heritage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Heritage.
Well, you got Cassia and Cassia won.
Cassia plays all those schools down in. Well, that's Cassidy. Plays all in Texas.
Yeah,
teams.
no.
Bishop
Lots
Kelly,
of them, man. Bishop Kelly, Bishop McGinnis,
Lincoln Christian.
Yeah.
They're on a big
and like I said, the biggest where it sticks out the most to me is in basketball. I mean, you go to a basketball game and it's just the whole stinking state tournament's full of.
Yeah.
Well, it sticks out to me in the spring sports like golf, tennis, because cross country. I look at the state champions and they're all.
How many state titles Clay Tartar have in for that?
If it wasn't for
30,
somewhere near that.
No, it'd be close to 30.
Anyways, I don't know how I got off. Of course, every time that gets brought
I always
up,
enjoy it though.
Jones, real quick,
$80,000 a year.
$80,000 a year, closing in on 6 digits, Chris.
Their front gate costs more than my entire neighborhood.
Here we go.
Yeah, I can attest that rod iron is not cheap.
I can hear Porter in 40 years. Bishop McGinnis was $1 million a year to go to school there.
Right now it's $51,000 if you're not Catholic or
if
member of the Catholic Church,
or if you don't run a 4.340. Okay.
Jones also undefeated in Class 3A football. I'm trying to get to my deadgum Cushing Tigers. Am I getting close?
You're passionate about them Cushing Tigers.
Are you in 3A?
I am in 3A.
Sometimes you go to 4A instead.
Well,
I don't think they played last week. We had this conversation last week.
They must have a big game this week then. I cannot remember.
Well, let me effort.
Yeah.
Last time I efforted in this situation, I was the only one that could come up with the information. So let's see if I can do that again.
Maybe I'm just. Maybe
the problem is I opened my app and now a mini game is loading. I don't know why. You ever get that?
Mini game? Oh, yeah. You got to close that. Douglas, Casey does that. 6-1, 3-0 in district. Waiting on the Jones-Douglas matchup to determine who wins that district in 3A2. John Marshall. I think those are undefeated teams. Berry Hill is undefeated as well. Cushing found them. Okay, here we go.
Ooh.
Cushing 7-1 overall, 4-0 in district play, and right now top of the district. This week, nope, they're off this week.
I was going to say they don't play this week.
They're off this week. That's what it was. Beggs, 6-point victory, 40-34.
Well, I told you that was going to be a good game. We called that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We knew.
You did.
Yeah, I mean, Beggs, it just has too many good athletes.
What's their mascot?
I have no idea.
Yes.
They're black and white and gold.
Yeah, and they've been so good. They had Pooh Williamson that went to. They're in the 90s.
Yeah.
Beggs basketball was absolutely
unbeatable.
incredible. I mean, they had kind of a little Beggs and Boynton and Bowley and all those areas. They were
Rod Thompson. Golden Demons.
Golden
Greatest high school football player to come out of a small program. Let's say 3A or smaller.
Stacy Satterwhite to me is the greatest 8-man player.
Okay.
I would say probably Stacy Satterwhite.
How about James Allen?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Winniewood?
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah. Winniewood was what, Class A?
Yeah.
They were 11-man. Mm-hmm. I think you would have to break it down 8-man and then smaller school 11-man.
Okay.
But I think. Well, no, I take that back. I would say the best 8-man football player. You know who I would say it would be?
Who's that?
Josh Brown from Foyle.
Oh, yeah. Gosh darn. Yeah.
He played here in
Nebraska.
the Rock.
Yeah.
Baseball?
Yeah, and then
football. We hosted a playoff game.
Really?
And, OSU plays Kansas this week, and Kansas had another player from Morrison, Wes Swinford, all the Swinford farms out there. He went to KU and played.
I remember Nathan Webb went to Kansas.
It seemed like his dad owned Stillwater Radio for a while. He went to Tulsa Union and went to Kansas. Yeah.
He didn't get caught up when the 32 KU fans charged the field, did he? He didn't get caught in the rush for that.
Who'd they beat?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say James Allen would be a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
Pretty good pick. I still say the greatest high school player of all time in Oklahoma is one Mr. Lido Carr. I will never back off of that, ever.
Yeah.
He was ridiculous.
Hard to argue with.
Yeah. Of course, and when you were I think I was 9 or 10 years old when I saw him.
You were pretty
impressionable.
Awestruck. Yeah,
I mean, those guys look like gladiators.
Right.
I mean, right. So I mean, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
A guy that's about 6 years older than me lives in Edmond. He's an architect for a firm in Oklahoma City. We hadn't seen each other in years. Mm-hmm. We connect for lunch here a few years ago. Found out we both lived in the area.
Oh wow.
He was the superstar, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm an elementary kid. He, the ball boy on this.
Oh yeah.
I see him. He's like 5'8". In my mind, he was like 6'3", 230, Captain America. Muscled up. And I'm going, dude, were you this little in high school?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh man, it just devastated me.
The greatest player I ever saw, football-wise, with my own eyes, though, in Oklahoma, was Cale Gundy.
Really?
I cannot explain to you how unbelievable. I'm telling you, I've told the story, but we had Artie Smith, who played for the Bengals. We had Chuck Berner, who was an all Big 8 safety. We had Brian Callahan, who went to Air Force. I mean, we had studs all over the field. We had Division I players. Yeah. We were ranked like number 20 in the United States of America in 1989. Yeah. He comes to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and runs speed option, and nobody in our team could tackle him.
Wow.
I mean, it was just like, oh my God. And I think the second best player I saw with my own eyes was the first high school game I ever stood on the sideline at Shawnee. Darian Gordon. They ran that flex bone.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Brad Holt at the time. We were standing next to each other, and we go, "Is this how fast high school football is?" We were all like, "Holy cow,
this is bad." Yeah.
Needless, little did we know, we were watching an all-pro NFL player.
Right.
But he was so good in that flex.
We've had a couple guys come through the halls of Guthrie that have to be in that argument.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Kentrell Brothers, the two-time 1,000-yard receiver, and was defensive player of the year his senior year. And I mean, of course, Kai Staley would have to be considered in that same category. So we've had, and there's been other greats obviously with Guthrie as well, but. It's
always interesting hearing the other coaches and asking them who they think the best Guthrie
Gary
player
Rose
was.
Immediately.
I'm not going to say who they say it is, but it's unanimous every time. Yeah.
We can all agree with that. Yeah.
Got to hit our final timeout here. By the way, the Oklahoma Bible Trojans.
Ooh.
Take our final timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank.
You looked that up.
Absolutely.
To the Oklahoma State.
I don't know if that made it or not.
They don't even ponder
at all levels of athletics and activity programs. Your conduct is a direct reflection of you your community, and your school. Sportsmanship is everyone's responsibility. Do the right thing.
F&M Bank is a neighborhood bank with 8 branches and 17 ATM locations across 4 counties in central Oklahoma. F&M Bank can help you with all of your personal, business, and agricultural banking needs, or simply add efficiency to your business. Check out F&M Bank with online and mobile banking at www.fmbankok.com or download their app and have all of their services in the palm of your hand. F&M Bank is a neighbor you can count on. F&M Bank, member FDIC.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle.
Here we go.
Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number, 1-800-897-3678. Don't have time to call? Send us a text at 405-973-8645.
Man, there were 6 blockers.
Using the hashtag OKHS Huddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
You said who is going to win that Chisholm Perry game?
That's coming up here in a moment. I don't think the surprise.
So you're only going to say that off here.
I don't think it's going to be. I'll say it on there. I don't think it'll be really a surprise as far as who wins. I don't know if one team will score.
What?
I don't know if another team. I don't think they'll score. I don't know. It'll come down to the
High School Huddle game of the week.
Yeah,
the ball's going to be flying.
We'll see. I like the
2 out of 3 things are bad when you throw the ball, Casey.
They always say great defense beats great offense.
Chisholm have a great defense?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I think we might be talking around our picks.
I think Evans is setting us up for one of those splashes.
Yeah, well,
that week
whenever
he's still cocky over choosing Muskogee over Bixby. The first week of that run.
Some of that should have worn off.
He's still riding the momentum.
And Booker T.
See the look on his face? He's still riding that momentum.
Some of that should have worn off, though.
No.
The last second 2-point
it's a loss,
dream
Chris.
that come true at the end
loss.
for Sand Springs.
All you got to do is rap, and that game's over.
That's exactly right. It is the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank here on Hot 93.7 FM KSBI. Short segment here as we wrap up another week here. Again, majority of the games are on tomorrow night, Thursday night, and we'll add some more in on Friday. Our broadcast for Guthrie football will be here tomorrow night. Pre-game show 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock in Piedmont.
What night of the week is it, Phil?
You don't like Thursday football.
I hate Thursday football.
You can't get over pouting over that game.
It just drives me crazy.
You're not going to pout on the air, are you?
The worst.
Probably a little bit.
That's not going to be part of our Esker Chevrolet keys to the game.
Yeah, well, probably will be. Yeah, don't ever play another damn Thursday night game ever.
Thursday night football at home stinks.
It's terrible.
Thursday on the road.
It's better. It's better on the road.
My first memory of Thursday night football is the first year the Big 12 was in place, and it was the first game of the year, the first Big 12 game, okay? And Oklahoma State was taking on Nebraska, and I was doing liaison for ESPN, which means I was the guy that told the referee.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have the orange sleeve on?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a whistle?
No, the orange sleeve. The orange sleeve.
No. No. And, of course, I'm a huge OSU fan, and I'm doing liaison here, and OSU got beat 55-9.
Oh,
I had a hard time concentrating.
I'm sure you did.
I had a hard time doing my job that
Focus.
night. I realized at that point I cannot do that job for OSU because there's no way. I mean, ESPN's not going to have a broadcast if I'm the liaison for an OSU game and they're getting beat 55. I came back to break like 3 different times at the wrong time. The guy was yelling at me. I was like, sorry, dude, we're getting beat 48-0. Shut up.
If we take a timeout here, we're going to lose all the momentum. We can't take a timeout.
We can't take a timeout. We just got a turnover.
Oh, that's funny.
What are you talking about?
I refuse to do it.
Lawrence Phillips ran for 890 yards that night.
Yeah,
he ran all the way.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
All right.
What are our picks? We're gonna do some picks this week,
especially the game of the week.
Yeah,
at least
Southmore Union.
Stillwater going to win.
Southmore Union. I'm going with the upset. Southmore.
Yeah, I'm going with Union.
I'll go with Union.
Okay.
Big,
disgruntled.
Big,
okay,
big.
They are disgruntled.
You obviously don't know about the little inside information. Go ahead.
Dell City Eagles and the Ardmore Tigers.
I know. I don't have a good feel for Dell. I said last week that they were going to get killed, and they almost won. Said they might win, and they get killed. I have no earthly idea. I'm going to go with the team that's been more consistent in the Ardmore Tigers, and that's that. But I don't know. Who knows?
That's what I'm going with. The most consistent team in Ardmore. That's what I'm going with as well.
Dell City.
Dell City.
Good for you.
Yep, Dell City.
Good for you. Like being wrong, don't you?
I like being right. Just like last couple times with McGinnis, I picked that, and you guys didn't. But I like being right. But
I haven't been able to come up with one of those. You know why?
But I
haven't been right yet.
You haven't been right yet. But also, I believe in how athletic Dell City is.
They are.
You know.
So is Ardmore.
But Ardmore's going to.
I will say this:
if they run outside the tackles, it'll be a miracle.
I like Dell City's scheme better. That's
Better question.
That flex bone doesn't do a whole
Better
lot.
question: how many passing yards will Ardmore have?
6. And that's probably going to be an.
Well, do they have like a shovel pass where they can?
Well, there you go. They might get a few. Yeah, that could be.
Do they have a rocket where they shovel it forward?
They had 12 passing yards against Altus. So.
Well, 9 of them were accidents.
12. They broke it open.
Right.
Trick play.
Open up the playbook.
Yeah. How many times did they score?
Ardmore, 14-7.
Yeah.
Something
It had to have
lines.
been like on 4th down plays where they were throwing it to the fullback in the flats.
Yeah, 3rd down and 42.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
All right, it is the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank. It is the High School Huddle game of the week. The Chisholm Longhorns, 13-1 a year ago, undefeated, traveling to Perry. Perry playing some great football, some of the best football they've seen in a long time. The Maroons are in the top 10 for the first time in a long time. And the Longhorns are coming to town.
Well, I guess I can start this show. Chisholm wins big. I'm going to say 42. No, I'm going to say 28-7.
Chisholm wins big.
Yep.
Where's our transmitter located, by the way?
Not too far.
It's located not too far from Perry, is it?
Not too far from Perry. No.
I'm going Chisholm, and I'm going Chisholm 28-7. How's that?
You copy.
You're on a roll, man. Can I do that?
I like
Can
that.
you do that?
No,
or is that
sure.
illegal?
We can both be right.
Okay, 28-7.
Yeah, we can both be right.
No, I'm going to go. I'm going to go 35-7.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You guys are about in the same neighborhood I am.
Yeah.
And
No, we're not. No, you've already made the statement. Don't back out on it.
Score.
You've already done. Wait
a second. He's going 35-0.
There we go. Here we go.
Longhorns have
Here we go.
7-6-0-12-6-24-0.
Here we go. And that all means
34-0.
34-0. Woo! Perry Maroons don't score. No points for the Perry Maroons. The Perry Maroons that average about 80 points a game, and they throw the ball every down. Shut out by the Chisholm Longhorns, says Mr. Chris Evans.
What's going to happen? Perry's going to score 6.
Shut out. He's bringing out the Longhorn hat tonight,
What's going to happen is Perry's going to score 60 in this game now. Watch.
Perry has scored 46, 45, 27, 68, 41, 59, 28, and 27.
Shut out. Evans is X them out, baby.
The big boys are coming to town.
How about that for some respect for the Perry Maroons?
Only Longhorn victory I'm claiming this year.
What do we got about we're gonna call the Blue Jay
No,
game?
I'm not. No,
I'm not. No.
Well,
Cowards.
I don't want to pick Guthrie and then say that I jinxed him, and then I certainly don't want to pick Piedmont. So there's absolutely nothing.
If I pick Guthrie, I'm a homer. If I pick him, then everyone in the town hates me.
All I know is that you just predicted a team that averages 50-some-odd points a game to not score 8 points.
Okay, and you put
in the high school huddle game of the week.
You gave them 7.
And you pulled out a miracle 7th touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're going to score at least one.
With 2 minutes left in the game.
Okay,
that's funny.
And so if you're gambling on a game and you cover in the last 2 minutes, does that not count? I guarantee you're going to collect your money.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, listen to them.
Hey, does Muskogee play this week?
They're off. I guarantee you they're not going to.
Did they play last week?
Well, not very well.
They're not losing 2 in a row this week. I guarantee you. Bye.
Now, Sand Springs does play this week. They have a huge game in that district. I think that they have Booker T or Bixby. I think it's Bixby.
Okay.
Well, look, we're here real quick. We need to get out of here.
Now.
Luke is screaming at us right now.
He needs to stop because I'm sensitive and I'll start crying.
We're in overtime right now. Who are we looking at?
Muskogee. Sand Springs.
Sand Springs. Okay, look real quick. Sand Springs. The Sandites. Or how did I not make the top 10? Sand Springs is hosting Tulsa, Washington.
Yeah, I knew it was one of those. The two big ones, Booker T or
be a good ball game.
Or yes, it will be.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our show. That's our show. They say it's time to go.
So we've got a grand total between 3 people of 14 points for Perry.
That pretty much.
What was your score one more time?
28-7.
We add all the scores up together, and we have a grand total of 14 points for Perry. In the high school huddle game of the week.
Which means we're completely wrong.
Absolutely.
By the way, we have been all year long. So if you're preparing,
speak for yourself.
Right now,
speak for yourself.
Right now, you should be rejoicing.
If you join us 1 week from tomorrow, you'll hear all about it, or we'll just pass it on. We're all executive directors, and anyway, all right. We need to get a big thank you to Luke back in our Stillwater studio. He had double duty back there tonight with coaches shows for other schools, so big thank you to him for commanding the ship once again. We're going to be with Luke tomorrow. Guthrie football kickoff 7 o'clock. Our pregame show begins at 6:30. Hope you can join us, and Guthrie fans can travel all the way to Piedmont and all the way back and pick up 93.7 the entire way.
I'm sure they could probably, if they have at least a decent headset, could listen to it while they're in
what are we eating tomorrow?
And if you're into Little League football, the Rock Gels Messiah will be hosting a bunch of football games on Saturday morning beginning at 9:30. So we invite you out. That'll be a lot of fun as well. All right.
Is that a wrap?
That is a wrap. For my partners, Phil Nichols, Casey Porter, I'm Chris Evans. We'll talk to you next week on the High School Huddle presented by F&M Bank. Shut up.
93.7 FM.